The 2019 Game Awards happened recently. Let's talk about it. I didn't know the event had that much prestige. I thought it was just this doozy little awards show that didn't really matter, but with all the world premieres they were hurling at us, they apparently had the pedigree to make an actual splash. Although not enough to be able to reveal a new Smash character. That was just the internet putting expectations on them for no reason, though. There was stuff there I was impressed by, even though the broad consensus appears to be that it was just an okay show. My favorite part of these awards the past couple years is how they try to make people give a shit about esports by giving them way too many award categories that nobody is on the edge of their seat to listen to. I will give you Best Esports Game, I'll give you Best Esports Team, and I'll give you Esports Player of the Year, but the crowd is just snoring through the rest of them. Best Esports Coach? Who has a dog in that race? Who's sitting at home watching an esports tournament and then gets on their feet when the coach comes out like, fuck yeah, that guy gives the best advice? Best Esports Tournament? Give an award to a venue that 99% of the people watching aren't even at, and the winner is EVO 2019. We liked that they controlled the temperature really well and gave snacks to people. And you can tell that people aren't even interested in the main esports categories because during the broadcast, the Game Awards hosts are rushing through all the names and nobody's cheering for any of them. Esports is cool and all, and it's well appreciated, but not to the point where anyone cares who wins awards. The Game Awards did this segment on global gaming citizens, where it spotlighted solo indie developers from around the world who had inspiring stories either of disability or strife. Like there was an 11-year-old kid making a game about depression because his dad committed suicide when he was 2, or there was an African guy who was a refugee who escaped militias and people coming to destroy his village, and there was an Afghani chick who wanted to make games to inspire other women from their oppressed culture that women could do things like this. And I remember seeing all these people from such horrific backgrounds and looking at all their games and thinking, wow, these look like shit. No, they really did though. The refugee game was like a Temple Run clone. The depression game the 11-year-old made looked like something an 11-year-old would make, and I literally don't remember the other one. But what an inspiring segment. Really made me think, wow, anyone can be a game developer. Tell me you weren't thinking the same shit when you watched those clips and saw the little snippets of the games they showed. Anyone who's played a game in the last 5 years would be like, what the fuck is this? Sure, you're not supposed to say that, but if someone came and killed my whole family, it wouldn't make me good at game development. I just thought that segment would have been stronger if these people weren't making Flash games no one was going to play. I guess that makes me an asshole. Well, okay, then I'm an asshole. We all knew this to begin with. I just like the idea of any of these global gaming citizens showing people their games. Like, what do you think? And the players look at the citizens and see this protective barrier surrounding them made up of all their past traumas and horror stories that deflect all criticism and negative responses, and they just have to be like, it's great. Yeah, you're so inspiring. Keep being a survivor. Okay, I'll stop being mean. Fire Emblem Three Houses was snubbed by the actual Game of the Year nomination, but it won the Twitch popularity poll, which means everyone knows that was bullshit, so screw you, Game Awards, the people have spoken. It did get Best Strategy Game, though, officially, which just furthers my point to question what the ever-loving hell you were smoking when you left it out of GOTY contention, but you put Control in there for no reason, which is a top 15 game at best. Sekiro ended up winning the actual Game of the Year award, surprising literally every single person on Earth. Even if you love that game and it's your personal game of the year, you're like, huh? I'm just glad we avoided the universe where Death Stranding won. That would have made the internet unbearable for years. The nominees were Control, Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2, The Outer Worlds, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, because they included December of last year, and Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Pokemon Sword and Shield and Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order weren't included in anything for this year's Game Awards, because they literally released on the cutoff day, which is some bullshit. Of the 6 we were working with, I'd have been happiest for Resident Evil 2. I'm a huge Smash Bros. Fan, but it can stick to best fighting game. The Outer Worlds is good, but not Game of the Year good. Control gets old after half an hour. Death Stranding is impossible to take seriously, even though I tried my hardest. And as most people on this channel know, I didn't finish Sekiro because the boss battles are too much, even though general exploration is a blast. But let's talk about those world premieres, because like I said, the pedigree was more than I bargained for, even if I don't remember half of what was shown. The highlights would be the Xbox Series X showing off Hellblade 2, which actually gave me chills. I didn't even play the first game, but 5 seconds into the trailer I was like, oh shit, Hellblade 2? They made it look absolutely astounding. Xbox Series X might be a rancid dogshit name and a modem-looking motherfucker, but boy does it make that software look good. People are going to ditch the Xbox and just call it Series X for short. Like, hey, you getting the PS5 or the Series X? I'm probably getting both. Sony needs to reveal their stuff in an official capacity. It's time for them to answer back, or they just look like they're behind. Xbox has done 2 reveals, Sony done nothing. The Ghost of Tsushima trailer was basically nothing. Sony revealed the first half of it in their State of Play, and we're all flirty about it, like, ooh, come watch the Game Awards if you want to see more. And then it turned out to just be a guy taking his mask off and staring at it and then putting it back on. That's literally all it was. He took his mask off to reveal his identity, and I'm sitting there like, we don't even know who this guy is yet. Why are you showing us this? Were we supposed to be like, oh, somebody I don't recognize? Oh! Gearbox revealed a new IP they're calling a looter slasher, as opposed to Borderlands being a looter shooter, so we're getting a co-op multiplayer third-person melee combat game coming holiday 2020 on the new-gen consoles, and that seems pretty good to me, man. I was personally stoked to see a release for Ori and the Will o' the Wisps coming early March, still the most gorgeous game of all time, gonna be a Game of the Year contender easily. Also, March next year is going to be the November of this year, just stacked to the rafters with solid-ass games. March has Animal Crossing, Doom Eternal and Doom 64, Final Fantasy VII, Neo 2, and the aforementioned Ori and the Will o' the Wisps, which is all stuff I'm buying, and it's also going to see the release of Bleeding Edge, which was that 4v4 Overwatch-y kind of thing they showed at E3, and that Half-Life VR game, apparently, if you're one of those cultists. I don't know anything about it, but March will be a month of reckoning for your wallet. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at Sunburned Albino, and I'll see you guys next time.